What's up guys, my name's Dychronic here in this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be talking about something quite different than I usually do because I'm going to be showcasing my 2-man Argos run that I did only a few days ago. Now this kind of stemmed from a conversation I had with somebody in the comments one day where they were saying I could not get together a group of 6 people that had done the raid before, that know how to do the raid, to be able to complete the raid, and that's why I can never do raids. So of course I'd responded very naively, well then why don't you just do the raid by yourself, or find one other person and just 2-man it, there's no problem. And when I told my buddy this, he said, what are you talking about, we can just 2-man the raid anyways, why don't we just do it? And then this video on our second try came about. Now obviously doing this 2-man is always significantly harder than it is doing 6-man, but this is just something fun to do, an achievement to say, hey dude, look what I did, I got a 2-man Argos, look at my report, it says 2-man. It's mostly just kind of a badge of honor and achievement, and I thought it was really fun and interesting. In this video I'm going to be talking very briefly about how we did it, the build and the strategy we used so that you can do it, and honestly it really is not that hard. The only things you really need for this is the Whispers of the Worm power weapon, and then of course I would recommend you masterwork that, and then you have a Warlock. That's all you really need. Everything else is just extra. You honestly don't even need to be that good of a player, because I mean we're pretty good players, but we did it on our second try and it really just came down to knowing where and when to shoot the boy in the face. Anyways, let's go talk about the specifics. As far as our build goes, we were both Warlocks with Empowering Rips. He was with the Nova Bomb and Devour. I was with the Dawn Blade. Honestly, I would say Devour Nova Bomb is probably your best bet. It really helps in defending and staying alive against a lot of enemies, and the super really just does not matter. As far as our armor goes, I went with Transversive Steps because I was the runner. The other person can go with Transversive Steps too if he wants, but he can also go with things like Ophidian Aspect, Vespers of Radius, anything that he feels most comfortable with, as long as it's not Lunafaction Rift, which I'll be explaining in a little bit. As far as the weapons go, we went with Whispers of the Worm, an auto rifle, and a lightweight weapon. The important thing there is Whispers of the Worm for absolute damage on the boss, the auto rifle for killing the harpies in the DPS phase, and of course the lightweight weapon for the runner so that they can move even faster than they are, and they can get through running very quickly. And on top of that, Midnight Coup is a lightweight weapon that's also god tier and is very useful. And of course the energy weapon, if it's Void, which would be very nice for the Minotaurs. Now the reason we don't use Lunafaction Rift is because we're using Whispers of the Worm, and that has a weird mechanic with the Lunafactions that stop it from getting free ammo. So normally with the Whispers of the Worm, if you get 3 headshots with White Nail, it'll make it so you get 3 shots back into the magazine from free ammo, not from reserve, and you basically can have infinite ammo as long as you're getting headshot. And on Argos, that is very easy to do. So naturally, you don't need to have Lunafaction Rift. The range addition does not assist you, and oftentimes it makes it so you don't get the free ammo you deserve. So the basic strategy behind this is you have 1 defense person and you have 1 runner. The runner gets the craniums and brings the correct craniums to the defense person. The defense person oftentimes has to juggle a cranium, and then when you are all prepared, then you take down the orbs and you move into the DPS phase, which obviously you're going to be using Whisper of the Worm and of course the auto rifles to take out the harpies. Once you finish off the DPS phase, then the white mechanic, Whispers of the Worm, takes out the white mechanic white spots in 2 shots. It's very easy. So let's go ahead and talk about that more in depth. So the strategy of the runner is to go out and get the craniums for the defense person. Defense person just defends the defense plate, which is going to be where you do the DPS from. Now there's 3 distinct different types of orb setups that you have to consider when doing this strategy. The first one is going to be 3 of the same color. Let's say you're on Solar and you got 3 arcs. In that scenario, you bring 2 craniums to the arc and bring those 2 craniums one at a time to the defense plate. The defense person will juggle 1 cranium while the runner gets the other cranium. Once you do end up collecting back on the DPS plate, you both take out 1.5 orbs. You are sharing that middle orb. The second scenario is you have 1 of each color. In that scenario, the defense person brings 1 cranium to the defense plate, and the runner brings the 2 other craniums to the 2 other plates. And of course it acts the exact same way. The runner brings 1 cranium for the defense person to juggle, and he goes to get the second cranium to bring over, and the third cranium is just sitting on the ground on the pedestal at the plate. Just make sure you have the defense person pick up the second one and destroy the second orb for you. The third scenario is going to be 2 of 1 color and 1 of another color. For example, if you're on the solar plate for DPS and you've got 2 arcs and then 1 void. This one works a little bit different in the fact that you have to use 1 cranium to take out 2 orbs. Now the way you do this is you use Striking Hand. The raid gauntlets allow you to punch an enemy as long as you get that kill with the melee attack. Then you have an extra 20% damage. This allows 1 cranium to handle 2 orbs by itself. So the basic strategy on that example is you get 1 arc cranium and you get 1 void cranium, bring them back, and the person with the Arc Cranium, because there's 2 Arc Orbs, then goes out, gets Striking Hand, and handles 2 orbs by himself. And those 3 strategies should cover every possibility and every permutation that you can encounter, and if you ever find something that I have missed, just use Striking Hand, and you only ever really need 2 craniums. Some things to note is that the more craniums you have on a particular plate, the more Minotaurs spawn. So if you can help it, have less craniums charging on the defense plate as possible. And if you ever find yourself putting 2 craniums on one plate, that's going to have a lot more Minotaurs than average, so you have to be careful and watch yourself. In that scenario, honestly, if you see Minotaurs, just use your super and destroy them outright. It is very much worth it, because that's the only reason you're going to be using your supers, is to clear out Minotaurs. So once you've taken down all of the orbs on the DPS plate, then you're going to want to hide behind something that can block the net. Each of the 3 locations all have something you can stand behind where you cannot get netted if you're standing behind it. Just stand behind that particular location, throw down 1 Empowering Rift, and just start going ham on the boss. When the Harpies spawn, designate 1 person to be on Harpy duty. He will take out his auto rifle, and that's the reason you have the auto rifle. Take down the Harpies as fast as you can. There should be 6 at a time. And then go back to the Whisper of the Worm, taking out the boss's health. So again, 1 person is just straight DPS the entire time, does not look out of his scope the entire time that there's a possibility of doing damage to the boss, and the other person will handle the Harpies as they appear, as well as do DPS in the interim. Once the DPS phase is over, the boss will immediately go to his wipe mechanic. All you have to do then is just find 2 white spots, destroy them with the Whisper of the Worm in 2 shots each, and that should stop his wipe phase entirely. This is honestly what makes this strategy so very powerful, is that you can destroy these things outright without any problem whatsoever. 2 shots from the Whisper of the Worm, even if you don't get the ammo back because you miss a shot or you're shooting 2 shots each, you're probably going to have plenty of ammo from all the Minotaurs and the infinite ammo from the boss, that it really does not matter. And once you've completed that, you've done 1 circuit of potentially 4 circuits to defeat the boss. You pretty much just repeat and refresh. One thing I would say is, between rounds, if you have extra time, just go in and lay in headshots on the boss with the Whisper, because obviously you have infinite ammo. You're going to be doing 10 times less damage, but you're also going to still be doing damage. So just try to do some extra damage if you find that the DPS is not enough. In our scenario, we did end up doing that, and at the very end, after the 4th DPS phase, we still did not kill off the boss, and we had to do extra damage to the head in his enrage. So you'll find that there's a very long period, or a very long window of like 10 to 15 seconds where he's charging up his enrage. You still can do extra damage straight to his head and be able to kill him before his enrage goes off. In our scenario, I would like to say we were within like 3 to 5 seconds of dying, and we were very, very close to not killing him. Of course, that being said, that was our 2nd try, and honestly, I was just surprised that we got there at all. And so the DPS honestly could have been a lot better all throughout. Anyways, that's the video. Hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions about that strategy. Obviously, this is going to be for a little bit more of the higher tier players. It's not for everyone, but I gotta say, if you have the Whisper and a Warlock, it is really not that difficult to pull off. You just gotta understand the boss, how it works, and then give it a couple of tries. It should not be that difficult. Of course, thank you for making it to the end of the video. Hashtag made it to the piggies. Today, we're gonna do with some cute, adorable piggies. So thank you for making it to the end of the video. Thank you for watching my videos entirely. And of course, thank you for being here in the comment section. I love it when you guys leave down messages. I try to answer all of them that I possibly can. And I do answer all of them. So if you ever have a question, you want to say hi, or you just want to say, piggies, leave a comment down below. I'd love to see it. Anyways, I've been your host, Dychronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.